What up, what up, what up? How's everybody's Friday night? What up, Scott, Little Rich, Michael, Dave, Darius, JP, uh, Tim, Brendan, Michael, Greg? How's everybody doing tonight? Freaking I'm gonna be showing some baits tonight. Also be showing some videos and stuff like that of one of the baits near the end, just to show you guys some differences in the baits. Doing all right. Getting ready to put some kids to sleep. Hey, gotta do what you gotta do, man. So yeah, and Brendan, you'll see, and and then also I'll show some videos too of some stuff. But just wanted to go over, the past week of the fishing. Pretty much I've had. I caught a few snakeheads. Mainly been catching some bigger snakeheads. I caught a 950 something, I think it was. I'm trying to remember exactly. And then the other one was 8 pounds and 50 something, or 8 pounds and 40 something ounces. And it was pretty two good nice fish. And actually the weird thing was is that the 9 pounder didn't fight as much as the 8 pounder, and which was crazy. The 8 pounder dude put up one hell of a fight. Like, I've never had that long of a fight on a snakehead in like a long time, and it was pretty fun. I had to dial back the drag a bit because I was using a smaller bait. It was actually one of these right here, uh, one of these Biovex baits, and I had upgraded the hooks, thank God, on the rear one, not the front one. The front one is actually pretty beefy hook, and I was pretty much at first I was using a frog. I was using the Nori's frog, and it hit that and it missed it, and I saw that the fish was pretty much chasing stuff down, and pretty much sight fishing the snakeheads, because you can once the tide gets up to high tide. So I was pretty much sight fishing. There's literally like six snakeheads within this area, and this one was pretty big and had a male following her. And I ended up taking the Biovex, just casting it out after the missed the Noris. Because they kind of just come up and they'll just suck like real hard on top of the water, like kind of like just like bass do, but a lot more slower. It's weird. Like, they'll come quick up to the bait, but then they'll just stay there for a second, and then they just end up like vacuuming the bait in. And but with frogs, you kind of, I feel like with snakeheads, you want to use like a smaller frog, and that Nori's isn't that small. And so, like I said, I ended up taking one of these, and since I was like, hey, this is pretty small profile, and they're chasing down, I also usually weight these down. I put 1 gram on each end, which is about 2 grams total, and that makes it sink like pretty much like a leaf, like about a foot every maybe like 9-10 seconds. And like I said, as I'm pretty much winding this in, coming towards me, I just pause it right in front of the snakehead, and she would come up towards it like a damn dragon and stare at it for a second. And I had to keep casting. It took like a couple casts, but finally, after a couple casts of me doing that, she came up to the bait, and I just kind of twitched it and then let it sink a bit down, and then she just grabbed it and it took off. But it was a pretty sick bite overall. I wish I would have got it on film, because that would have been a really good damn footage. I was thinking about that one right after I caught it. I was like, dude, I was like, the one moment I should have had on film, I didn't. Because it was pretty sick, and the water was clear too, because there really wasn't much rain, and there's so much grass, And even after it rains, it doesn't get dirty anymore. It gets slightly cloudier, not really that much. Let's see what else. Near the end, yeah, when I show the other bait, not really just gonna show too much like about the like design and stuff like that. I'm just gonna pretty much show the differences of why the I think it's pretty much a waste. Let me see. Yeah, and there's tons of them, dude. There's a lot of snakeheads. Like I said, out of probably all those snakeheads I've caught, easily I've taken out at least like 300,000 or maybe more worth of snakehead eggs, because almost all those snakeheads up there, I killed them or dispatched. Shouldn't have said killed. But like I said, there's plenty of more where that comes from. There's tons of them, man. Like I said, I've caught pretty close fish to the size snakeheads to that one I caught, the 9-pounder, to be honest. So like I said, there's in the next year or so they'll be just as big as that one I caught. And what's it called? There's tons and tons of shad right now inside the river. Big gizzards, like about like this big, some a little bit bigger. And I saw a giant bass, man. One of like the biggest fish I've seen so far this year was like trying to eat it. And I had a lipless kind of trailing behind it. I was just literally just had my rod resting. I wasn't reeling or nothing. And I just had the current doing pretty much the work for me. And leaving that lipless there. That's how I caught that fish like a week ago, or not even that long ago. That bass. It was like right inside the culvert. I just had the lipless right in the current, but the damn lipless I ended up losing. I was kind of pissed because it's not a normal lipless. It's actually a Lucky Craft lipless. That's it's called the Varied, and it's like a blade bait mixed with like a lipless at the same time. It's very like heavy for its size. Be careful what you wish for, Brendan. They're a pain in the ass. They're cool to catch, but honestly, like I said, they're a little bit of a pain sometimes, especially on treble baits. Like, it's fun to catch them on treble baits and stuff like that, but when they go nuts, honestly, when you drain them out, that's like the best thing you can do with the treble baits is just drain them out before you put them in, like on the boat or on land. Just actually tire them out a bit before you just throw them in the damn boat, because they go nuts. Most of the time, they actually like dehook themselves. You just hold the line a little bit, and literally within a couple like seconds, they're gonna start thrashing their head, and literally just rips the bait right out their mouth. And the hard thing is, though, about with the treble baits with snake heads, what I didn't think I said. Did I see Adam? What up, Adam? I didn't think I said hi to you. What up, Malone? And the thing that sucks about with the treble baits, though, is that with the snakeheads, that they just have so much bone that it's very tough to get those treble baits in. So you gotta kind of like give them a good amount of like oomph to it, but at the same time, you probably want to have your drag a little bit loose at the same time, because once you hook into them, they take off or they just start thrashing like crazy, and that's usually when they end up bending your hook right out. What up, Tom? And they end up bending your hook right out, and then you end up losing them. So that's what I usually do, is just kind of like dial back that drag, but still give it a good amount of hook set. And sometimes I'll thumb the spool for a second just to make sure I get a good hook set, and then I'll let go and let the drag do the rest of the work. And that KVD Smoke, the Quantum, man, that reel does very, very well for cranking. I really like that. Yeah, their bottom jaw has like that little bit of it's kind of creepy though, because if you like put like something on there, if you rip like their lip a little bit, you kind of just see direct bone. It's crazy. It's just bone. It's kind of weird. I really always thought of taking the snake heads and chopping completely the head off, and bring the skull with me and keep it, and just have it where it gets pretty much have it where put it out in the sun and let it decay off, and then take the skin off and have just the skull. That'd be pretty dope. Yeah, I heard they are kind of expensive, like to buy. Like they have Asian markets where they charge a good amount of money for them. That's usually who I see eating them when I see that people take them. Stuff like that. It's usually like Asians or Indian people. And the Mexican guys that I seen try, I gave one to. They didn't like it, so that was kind of interesting. But it is the Delaware, so, and usually you're supposed to probably bleed them out. They're not. They probably didn't do that, and that can make the meat a little bit nasty. Wolffish are pretty sick. I always wanted to have one as like in my fish tank. There was an aquarium place that I had near me that had them, and they're pretty sick. They're aggressive as hell. They bite anything. They're like mini snakeheads, really. And then there's also the mini snakehead species. They're not really. Yeah, they are like mini, but they're dwarf snakehead species. They're a lot more colorful and pretty looking. But this also I wanted to guys tell you about. I had used a bit. It's pretty nice. A lot more stable than I was anticipating that I seen online. It definitely can handle like a medium speed retrieve, no problem. And but it does seem to do better when you kind of like do rips or like 1 to 2 like reels and then stop, 3 reels and then stop. It does really well in that, and it'll glide out really nice and far, which I like about that. Have not tried on the chin weight thing. I think that might actually be a pretty good idea to try out. I might actually, what I do for that, I might even just take that front hook off and just keep that front hook, because if it's sitting nose down, they're most likely going to hit it from the back on the tail, and you probably won't even need that front hook. But like I was saying, and then on a slow retrieve, it stays like literally straight. Like it does not roll at all. Like it'll just kind of come in just like this, like a snake. And that's kind of impressive for like a multi-jointed swimmer bait, because most of them, even like something like this here, which is like this duo multi-jointed swimmer bait. It's made out of like an ABS bone material, but it has these joint swivels as the joints. It doesn't have eyelets, so it causes the bait to like twist, which gives it like a kind of different type of roll to it. But like I was saying, this bait here, even like on a slow retrieve, it like wants to roll. And a lot of other custom swim baits and stuff like that do the same thing too. Even multi-jointed like wake baits, I had kind of do that, want to like roll. So for this being without a lip and all that, that's pretty good. So, and like I said, it different. That I didn't get any follows or anything like that on it though. So, but it was pretty nice. and it's not a big bait at all. It's pretty small, a little bit bigger than the actually the GI. The GI. Yeah, this is the G dash. Yeah, it's the GI. The GI is a little bit smaller than this one. Yeah, you'll get like a weird roll to it, and that's actually one thing I like about the BioVex baits. They come in pretty straight for like a multi-jointed bait at a slow speed, which I like. And that's actually another one I didn't think about that does that pretty well. And then also that lipless, the Amakatsu, Amakatsu Salt Strong, the blade bait. I was using these a bit too as well, and I was extremely impressed by these. They have like instant vibration. Like as soon as they hit the water, man, literally you feel everything. And I think that's really because of the titanium. It's a titanium blade bait. It's made out of like actual titanium, the blade itself, and you get a lot of response from the blade, like tons. Like you feel every little damn thing you hit, and just in general the whole thing vibrating while it's coming through the water. And then also you can literally yo-yo this, retrieve it, really get multiple different like versatilities out of it versus like certain ones I've had where like that vibration, the Dyna vibration X1, or I forget the damn name. I get so many of these weird names, but the Megabass one that it just has one eyelet on it, and honestly with just the one eyelet I was doing all that with, so that was kind of impressive. And the one, that Megabass one, it really does not like to be yo-yoed at all. Like you'll yo-yo it and then it'll take like 2 or 3 seconds for it to like come back to center. This one you can just literally yo and it stays centered the whole time, and it just vibrates extremely hard. And I was really impressed by it, and went through some decent amount of stuff too. I went through woody areas and I didn't get snagged on it, so that's also a plus. Yeah, they work, man. Like that Sebile, the Magic Swimmer, all of those. They don't even have to really be expensive. Mm-hmm. What up, Tyler? Did you see the new Rapper Vibe? I like the way it looks like a beat rap. No, I didn't see that one actually. Or I might have skipped over it. Funny snakehead story. When I worked at the aquarium place, snakehead went missing. I found him in a covered dust filter room the next day. Threw him back in the tank, full recovery. Yeah, they're tough, man. They can survive a pretty long time out the water, man. Especially even when like their skin gets a little dry, they still do pretty good. But if they're like out in like scorching heat, they'll last like 2-3 hours. They can't take like direct sun. But if they have like moisture or that area is like muddy, they would be good. Yeah, that's the only thing that sucks about them is that the the Catchco ones, they're pretty good. I've caught actually some striper on them, and but the only thing is I just don't like the Catchco stuff. but they work, and they're definitely like a bait that you can use, and you don't have to worry about losing them. Nah, Tyler, I like blade baits a lot. Actually, I've been using them for a while. I just use them pretty much in the same pretty much areas I would use a silent lipless bait. It's pretty much like the same thing to me, really. Yeah, actually, Adam, it's extremely thin. I can see if you can maybe uh, like it won't even maybe pick it up. It's like a paper. Look at that. Oh yeah, picked it up. But it's very, very thin. And then I think with the titanium, they were able to make a larger profile, but then way, still light, because this is only a 7 gram, blade bait, but it's still a pretty big size, a lot larger than the Megabass one, the OSP one I have, and a couple others. So it's actually, I like that. And it's a good minnow profile. That's another thing why I like these a lot. It matches with like the minnows we have in the Delaware. And a lot of those, I forget what they're called. They're called like a dance or something like that, or something dance, or dace. It's some weird name, but they're pretty cool fish. We had them, and they like kind of make this like silvery swim to them. They like bully each other. It's funny. Yeah, like if it has like shade and stuff, they'll survive. It's just, I don't know. It's for some reason the sun really destroys them. I guess it just dries their skin out like really quickly, and I guess makes them not able to breathe. Right? I'm not sure. But like I said, I've had one where I threw it like on like it was hot rocks. That shit was hot. Like if you held those rocks, it would burn. And it was like 100 degrees out, and I caught one, and it literally I didn't have a knife, so I just threw them on the rocks, and literally within like 3 hours it was done. But the one I had the other day, that big one, that one I had on the side. I had left it on the side because I was trying to fish for something else. And then finally, it was like 2 hours later, and it was still perfectly fine. But it was shady. But I just ended up putting it out as misery. Even though it can breathe on land, so technically it's not in misery. Yeah, and actually, like that's actually another thing I was gonna get into about that, Nessie bait and stuff like that. That in my opinion, I just feel you're better off getting a Nest waiver, but I'll get into that. Yeah, actually, it's been doing pretty good recently. Not bad. Yeah, dude, it's very responsive. Like I said, I was really impressed, and for the price, $7, you can't beat that. And you get 3 different other selections. So if you wanted to do like just jigging with it, you can do that. And then the front eyelet allows you to just burn that thing. Mm. All right, so let's get into a few of the baits that I got this past like week or so. And yes, I couldn't help myself and get some. So let's get into, I guess I'll just get into like the more simple stuff that you've seen me get before. But this one here is the Live X. I just got it in the Respect color that they had. I like these cranks. They're like a kind of like a hybrid jerk bait. But it's a sick little bait. I'll show you out the package. But it's a good minnow style bait, which is what I like about it. And it really hunts very well in the rocks. So this is that frosted Hasu, I'm pretty sure, called back frozen Hasu. Frozen back. It's got that pink back, frosted sides, like a mat, and then that white belly. It's a really nice color. Yeah, that's a good brand actually, Brendan. They make. I was actually gonna talk about those tonight. I'll show a couple of them that I think that's like pretty slept on. But a lot of their baits are made out of wood, and they actually have a couple like smaller size baits this year, and I'm pretty sure also that I think that might also be the company that Oliver Nyes did a collab with as well, if I'm not mistaken. And for the bass, I think he made a bass popper, or it's not a popper really. It's like a kind of like it's pretty much like the Marty Burns, that Dream Popper, but giant. Kind of does the similar thing, but a little bit more. You can retrieve that bait, like it's actually like meant for that. You can straight retrieve it, and it kind of just hunts. But they also have like a twitch bait that's, like I said, now smaller and stuff like that, so you can get that, use that in freshwater no problem. And it's their full like balsa or wood construction bait, line through, construction, so very very strong, and definitely look like good baits. They're a little bit pricey, but it's a balsa bait or wood bait, so you got to put that into consideration. One thing I noticed though too about the baits that are coming out recently is that a lot of them, they're trying to imitate, JDM styles or whatever it is, or like Spro. I've noticed too is that they're making a lot of baits that are similar to JDM stuff, but then they're asking like the same price or more, which makes no sense. Like those Spro scat baits, I don't know, those seem like they were hidden, like they were trying to keep those hidden to like the actual day of ICAST, so they didn't get any negative backlash from it, like Rapala and all the rest of it when they kind of showed theirs early. So it was like weird, but I don't know why those baits cost $11 or almost $12. That's literally almost $2 more than depths, which makes no sense. And you get less baits, so why would you just not buy the original bait? And so yeah, Spro came out with that little crawler. That is cool. They've been had that one though for a little while. They just haven't put it out for sale yet. I don't know why. It's been out since like the beginning of the year. But it is a cool little crawler. I'd like to see them make like a little bigger one. Yeah, I don't get that. Like, if you're gonna want higher quality or whatever it is, so like I don't understand that. Like, just if you can't get, I guess if they can't do it in the U.S. neither, because it'll probably be the same thing. So I really don't get that. I guess since that there is like they are part of like JDM, yeah. Pro plies are overpriced, and then I think maybe it's because they're also like starting to work with like more JDM companies overall, so maybe that's what it is, and they're just becoming more pricey. Yeah, 11. It was like 11, like 80 something or whatever, on 11.50 something. I don't know. It was more. It was close to $12 for 4 scat beats, and I was like, what? And they're not even a Last Tech or TPE or anything. So that makes no sense. Okay, so yeah, it is the Catch brand. I knew that. Like, I always get that one and the Cast, or I think that's what it's called, like Cast Bait Company, and I always get that one mixed up. I don't know alone. And so the other bait too I got that was a kind of like a respect color thing was the battalion. I got the Pro Blue one, and this is pretty much just like their Pro Blue, but in a like more refined version. Really, it's got a little bit more nicer paint on it, and so the hopefully it'll come up on like the camera, and so you'll get that clear body with the hologram on it, and then on the belly it's like a pearl white, but actually it's like a blue color. You don't see it, but it's like turquoise. But if you hold the bait up to the light, the belly of the bait's like a turquoise white color. Yeah, which probably if I held it up to like the light, you can kind of see it right there on the belly, right here. But there's like a turquoise color. Maybe if I don't hold my hand on it, but it has like this turquoise green belly, and then the top is that blue, but then there's like purple in it as well. It's kind of hard to pick up without yeah, it's not gonna pick it up. There's like a light purple on the top as well, like a pearl, but it's a nice, very nice color. I gotta use this one, and I like to usually put a little bit of weight on the front of the mouth area. I actually have my other one here that I put over here, and I have weight on the belly and that nose, because that's where it technically rides at. If you look at on the nose, that's from like the rocks. But when you're pretty much cranking this in, it pretty much wants to come like at that angle. So whenever it hits like rocks and stuff, it's really like going like that. So that hook kind of stays out the way pretty good. So you're really not having to worry about that snagging as much as you think. So it's a pretty good bait. But I just wanted to get this color because it's a good color, and would work when that water is a little clear. It's actually a good view of it. So it's a pretty cool color. Simple but nice. Yeah, man, that rain it's just been, it's like all the rain we're supposed to get in the damn spring comes now. It's kind of crazy. It's been raining here every damn week, like for 3 days, 2 days. Rained a little bit for like a couple hours ago. It's gonna rain, I think, tomorrow or Sunday. But yeah, I guess we kind of need it anyway. Can't complain about rain. Yeah, and they kind of really don't consider it too much like a glide bait. I always like hear that kind of, but I, they are kind of like that. But I consider them, they're like more like a jointed lipless bait, but they are in a way similar to like a glide. I think the bigger one kind of has more of that glide bait feature to it, where that the giant one, I've never tried that one, but I always thought of it. It's a pretty sick bait. I always see like Zaldane using that damn thing, and Oliver. I remember Oliver was real big into that a while ago. I barely hear him talk about it now. But the giant one, that one you can like dead twitch that or dead walk it, and it just like goes back and forth. This one you kind of have to retrieve it, but some glides kind of work like that as well. Like you said, like that Ganaro, sort of like that. So yeah, it could actually be a glide too, like a glide lipless bait. But you do get that S action, which is good. That's what I like about it as a lipless bait. That's a feature that you don't really get. Those pogo shads kind of give you that sort of wide S pattern or S swim, and which I think is pretty sick. And those pogo shads, there's so many damn variants of them, man. You got the pogo regular, like the shad. You have that pogo minnow one, the pogo blade tail one, the one that has like a bladed tail. It's like a tail spin. Uh, it's like so many damn variants that I really never even knew about until I actually like looked into them, and they're pretty nice. And that's kind of like what I like about these certain things is like you getting variants of stuff, even though it is a lipless bait, it still offers something a little bit different that other baits are not offering. So it's something that's out there that maybe if you needed to get something different, or you needed some sort of different action, or your fisheries are using a lot of lipless baits and you want something that's maybe swimming a little bit different, maybe making a different noise, that's something that you could go with that would maybe help or change your situation. And that's a floating lipless bait. So, not many floating lipless baits out there. And that's one of them. Same with the little Vibration X, the Battalion, the little tiny one. That's like one of my favorite lipless baits. But even though it still has like a lip on it, it's pretty much acts like a jointed, like lipless, and that's like one of my favorites. The slow sink one is very good. You put a little floating board on there, that Zapu floating board, that thing gets bit. And it's a very good bait for like fishing in like current and stuff like that, because it can handle going a little bit quicker. That slow sink one. Mm. Mm. Let's see what else. I'll leave the swim bait stuff for the end. And then this guy here, I got some frogs. I've been wanting to get some frogs. I've been having a lot of spots near me that pretty much seems like that's what might probably be working the best, or just a lot of spots that look like it's good for frogs. So I just wanted to get some more stuff to try out and see how it does. Because actually, that spot that I've been catching my fish at, the Delaware spot, I wish I could show it on. No, I don't have my thing on here. Dang it. don't have my YouTube on here. Let me see if I can get the picture up so I can show you what I'm talking about. But the spot that I'm fishing has like duckweed there, and pretty much that has never been there ever, and all of a sudden there's now duckweed in this one spot. And there hasn't been any there for the past like couple years or any year before that, and all of a sudden there's now this big blanket of duckweed there. This I'm gonna get it right now. Cool. Alrighty. Alright. So here we go. Share screen. Alright. So right. Let me see if I can find. So see how like back here on the behind me, pretty much you'll see that blanket of green. That's pretty much all duckweed there, and I really that has not been there ever. Like for the past, like I said, 5-10 years, I've never seen that there. So I'm thinking some sort of like water bird or something that brought it there or something like that. And but it's pretty interesting. Usually, what up, TK? And I usually don't see that there. So I was like, oh shit, that's like perfect for frogs. And that's where I've been catching a lot of like little frogfish. I've also caught literally 2 little tiny dink fish off of some frog I found on the bank. It was literally this little lunker hump frog I had found, and literally I was like lost on that, and because I needed a frog that day and I had forgot the little pack I had of my frogs, and I was just walking by the train tracks, and then I look at the ground and it had like a little piece of braid attached to it, and I was like, oh shit, it's a little frog, and it was a lunker hunt frog. And I just ended up putting that on, and I somehow caught 2 little bass on it. It was crazy. Yeah, thanks, TK. Yeah, that was actually the first fish I had caught that day. Everything else wasn't working. I was trying every damn thing. I went and used a spinner. I had a couple other stuff. I was cranks, lipless bait, and I was trying to fish the current and stuff like that, the evoke. But I just threw that Dreamwalker on, and tide was coming in, so it was getting a little bit higher, and I just threw it over some grass, and it got hit on the first cast, and it was pretty nice. And then I got a catch. After that, I couldn't get no more. I started throwing it everywhere. Couldn't get nothing on that, and I ended up throwing that slide sinker, the Megabass one, that Kauai that sinks, and got another bite off that. Let me see. So yeah, so this is the one of the frogs that I had got. This was also on that sale, so I was like, why not get some that I haven't seen? And this is Nori's. This is the it's a weird name. I don't even really know how to pronounce it. Hushoken, I think that's how you call it. But it's pretty much like a walking. It's supposed to be a spook style frog, and it's more like a open top, like open water frog. Not really meant for like nasty weeds, but it has a little flat face on the front, so it does spit some water. It's also got like a keeled front, like belly section to allow the bait to obviously walk very well. And that's one thing I can say about the like Nori's baits is that they walk really well with very little effort. It's a pretty soft frog. The hook points are pretty close to one another, which I wish was a little bit further apart, but since it's a narrow bait, can't really blame that. It's got that little bit of plastic on that hook eye. The silicone feels pretty good quality. Yeah, I thought it was rubber for a second. It's got a little escape hole for the water. And so yeah, it says a new type soft body pencil popper produces the same number walk as a hard bait popper or walking bait. Unique head side cups make splashes. Okay, so these are actually like side cups that's supposed to create a splashing and also help with walking. So it helps cuts make splashes and noise like a prey, inciting bass or primal instinct to bite. Special snagless designed for casting easy into heavy covered areas. Original hook in 3D soft body shape, whatever the hook point is by the profile. But the hook points are pretty tucked in. They're not like this one is grabbing a little bit. This one isn't really. So. But it's pretty simple though. But really, you don't see too many good like spook style frogs out there. They're usually like pretty goofy. Or that one popper frog that came out this year looks all right. A little different. To be honest, there's like I really hard to tell, but I can't. I don't think there's like tons and tons of fish really, and they're very picky, especially at this time of the year. But honestly, recently, I think the fishing will get better because around this time, people stop kind of going to that area because it gets that tough, and it's just that people don't like to fish different ways. It's weird. But I've seen like less amount of people recently in the area than I have like in the past 2-3 months, and so you know that's a good thing to me. But I'll just usually go there since it's hot as hell, and that also is probably another reason. So I just go there. I don't mind the heat like that, and so I just tough it out. So usually I would say that there's probably more like snakeheads at the point in this area, but last year I probably would have caught a lot more on that Dreamwalker than now. Oh shit, my shit lagged. I would say there's more good amount of like small fish, but not a lot of big fish. I'm surprised, honestly, a snakehead hasn't hit that damn thing. Yeah, that's true. Probably would be good for skipping. It's like one of those like yum, I forget what they're called, like a money minute or something that people really didn't like they were pretty slept on. Because I know a lot of guys that have snakehead fish like those because they were cheap. They walked pretty decently, and you weren't like going through like your frogs because snakeheads destroy your frogs. No, there's I could take the damn shad that are just hanging by the culvert. Damn, take my cast net and cast right by there and put them on some damn bobbers and shit. But like I said, I've caught some big ones in this area. Last year, I was catching like my average size fish was about 3, 4 pounds. This year is just not that. But I did see someone. I was telling Brendan, I did see someone catch a fish that I've been actually looking for just to know, they're alive. That the guy on Fish Brand, he had caught it, and it's about 4 pounds, and I was pretty surprised, to see it. So I was kind of happy on that. But that means at least they're not someone didn't kill them, or there's the other ones that I know that are there. They have to be there. They're just probably being very picky or just hiding from away from that areas that are near the bank. Yeah, as long as it's dead, as long as it's not alive, you can use them as bait. I'm sure they'll eat them. And honestly, the damn shiners, man, you can't even find a place that sells shiners here. It sucks. The only ones you find are obviously at Wild, but there's really no bait shops that sell shiners near me. They sell like minnows and stuff like that, but no shiners. Shiner fishing used to be like very, very popular. That's what me and my dad, my cousin used to do back in the day. We used to go like under a bridge that's near me, and they used to hold some like giant crappie and big bass, like constant bass, because a lot of like shad and stuff used to like migrate through it. And it had some massive shad for like a small lake. It was weird. But the other frog too, I actually got two of them, but they're the same brand. And this is the evergreen kicker frog, and this is like a frog that I really don't hear much people talk about. But it's a single hook frog. I got one of the mouse versions, and this is, like I said, a single hook frog that is very, very weedless, meant for like, it also has like that little kind of textured belly just to help like grab water. And but like I said, it's very weedless. It's kind of like rigid, but at the same time like soft. But that hook is like completely tucked in there. Like that's not grabbing anything. Like you can put that through the craziest stuff you can think of. But it also, like I said, it has that single hook on it, and it doesn't go to a sort of like a connection ring. It's pretty much directly the hook. So there's no like movement at all. It's just straight, you know, to the hook. So once you set that hook, you're going to get direct contact with that hook point, and it's going to penetrate very, very easily into the fish's mouth. And then also it has a little tiny eyelet there. There's a little eyelet here, and you can add a little blade or this kicking like frog thing, like sort of like the tackle has if you want, but it's mainly for like a blade. And like I said, this color is pretty cool because what they did was just, it's the same frog and everything. The eyes were just turned into the ears, and then they just put the eyes on the front. And you can kind of see where the eyes would go. It's like an outline right there. But they just kind of made into a little mouse. But I like the mouse color on the frogs because it's pretty good color, gray. And for top water, it's pretty good in general. Yeah, it's like velvet. It's like a suede, Brennan. And then I got the this is the other one I got, which is the black one, the black rat. And sort of the same thing, just black. And it kind of reminds me, it has like sort of the same square as like the steps, the Maserati jig I got. It's so black, man, that it freaking like almost like sucks the light out. That's kind of cool. It's like pitch black. It's like sucking the light out of like the background. But it's a pretty dope little rat. And they walk really easily, especially when you're having that, you know, horizontal line tie. It's just gonna help the bait walk better. So like how you have a glide bait and it has that horizontal line tie to make it go side to side a little bit easier or better. Yeah, dude, that'd be pretty sick. I know some guys that were using like goldfish and stuff like that. I saw like a little container of like a little foam container that had like little tiny goldfish in it that were like dead. So they're definitely, and I've seen some like goldfish like that big in the Delaware just swimming along. They have some beautiful tails though. And I just imagined a giant bass just coming up and gulping them because they're so slow. Yeah, we used to have like old like bunker and stuff like that we just have for salt or clams and bunker, man. They catch us some big catfish. That's all I used to use back in the day was clams and bunker, especially like old clams. They love them, and I think it's because honestly in the Delaware there's tons of clams, so they just works. Yeah, it literally is like that special black that disappears. Yeah, I didn't even realize that until I was like showing on the camera. Look at that. It blends in with the hat. What the hell? That's crazy. I like my shirt. Look at that. It's gone. What the hell? Gone. That's pretty cool. But the next one I'll be showing. Yeah, it's crazy. I was like, what the hell? What up, Guggen Slayer? Yeah, no problem, Brendan. I'll send that. I'll probably honestly, yeah, I can send it like Tuesday. The money over Monday, like, or Tuesday, like morning, because I get it like my thing Tuesday. I was gonna say I'll send it Monday, but if you want to wait till Tuesday, honestly, that's fine with me. Uh, and all right, so the next frog I'll be showing is the Baskariski frog. It's from Depths. It's a pretty unique frog too as well. I got the 70 size. It's pretty big too. It's not small at all, and it's like a beefy, pretty long frog. And also, there's one difference in this type of frog, even though it's a single hook frog again as well. And I wish more companies kind of did that were over here is make their frogs into that single hook style frog. I just think it's a lot more easier to set the hook. It just hooks overall better. It's pretty much just like using a Texas rig type bait or like a toad uh, instead of having that EWG style hook. And so this frog here is a crawling style frog. And like I said, see how it's a pretty big frog. And this is the 70 millimeter size. It's got a pretty big profile. And so you got these little wings here, or like legs, you could say. And as this bait's coming through the water, it's pretty much just gonna crawl. And that it pretty much is meant to do that. It's a crawling frog. So it's not really meant to have like a walking, uh, sort of thing or anything like that, or a popping. You probably could honestly pop it a little bit with these legs and get like a water to come like forward, so like we can with like a regular crawler. But you'll most likely get, it's mainly meant for this crawling, slow crawling action that you're going to get. And it's a very weedless as well, same thing, hidden behind that ridge on the back of the body. It's like you'll kind of see it right there. It's got like a little ridge on the back for that hook point to like sit right against, and it hides it. It has a cutting point single hook, which I kind of like and don't like. It will probably help make that hook set a lot easier. And this bait originally has, this is the soft body model. This is not the hard body. There's two different models. There's a soft body one, and then there's a hard body. The hard body one was mainly more designed for like snakeheads. It's a lot more tough and durable. It's not really meant for like bass. And it just freaking it's like kind of just too tough. What up, Hellbass? And so the shallow one is really the one you really want to look for, and it's very soft too. It's but it feels tough. Like it's got definitely some thickness to that plastic, so it feels like it should last a pretty good long time if you're just catching bass on it and no snakeheads come. But for the most part, if you're catching bass, I think this will last a pretty long time. And one thing, like I was saying, that's different about this here is that it has an extra attachment that goes to the regular EWG style hook versus being directly, horizontal. And the main reason is that this frog was, meant to be like a walking and style frog, so that horizontal helps. And it's also what this was meant for, fishing in extremely heavy cover. And it just helps with having more direct contact with the hook and getting a better hook set with being in stuff like that. Whereas this one is, you can fish in a heavy cover, but it's really more meant to be like in a sparse, or at least have a full amount of water over whatever you're fishing, like grass, maybe through a lily pad, sparse lily pad area, and stuff like that. And so it comes with this, like I said, attachment here that goes to that EWG style hook that's horizontal, uh, just to give you that ability to have that crawling action with this bait. And then also to the fact that it adds a little bit more beefiness to the hook as well. And also you get, somewhat movement on that. So it's not going to probably bend that hook out if you maybe putting a lot of force on it. And then, and that's a pretty beefy line tie on there. If I was to compare to like, something like that, like a, say, has, pretty beefy hardware. So it's going to be pretty good. And that weight there is pretty big too. So this frog weighs a good amount. So it'll cast out there pretty far. And it kind of shows like the animation of like what that line type thing. So it has that extra piece that's attached to that EWG style hook. So, and that's also because probably if they didn't have that, they probably couldn't make the frog as long as long as it is. So that's kind of a good thing. It also talks about like tuning on the frog too, on the packaging. So you could probably use like Google Translate if you ever had like an issue with that. So that's a cool one. Yeah, you gotta keep trying them, man. They're good. I'm telling you, they work. They just, you gotta be kind of like patient with them. And yeah, that blade would make me mad too. Like I said, I think really the blade companies, they need to make props that has like there's also parts like that actually. I'm trying to remember like what kind of parts it is, but there's like parts that go on like a certain, I forget what the hell it is, but it's I was saying that they should make props like that to where they have special segments maybe like on the edge of the blade where it connects to the actual uh, shaft part of the, or that round, I forget what the hell it's called, but the actual round piece that connects the rest of the blades has like a shear point to where if it hits a log or whatever, it just shears that blade off versus taking actual impact on the blade and just bending it to the point where it just cracks or bends and then causes damage to the lower unit. I'm surprised they just don't do that. And it really wouldn't affect anything. I can't see. The hub, yeah, that's it. Yeah. They should just do that. I don't get that. And I would think they would do that, especially like as a machinist. That makes like the most sense to me. Yeah, the raid, like I said, the raid and all those other ones, they're pretty good. And that Adduce, the one I got, the Z crawler or Z crawl, it's a good bait. And they're not that big either. They're pretty small. And I haven't really had any hookup problems with mine either. Like you would think that the way that they are, that they would probably get in the way of like your hook sets and stuff like that, but they really don't. And then the next bait I got is a swim bait. This is the Elements Da Vinci 190. This bait here is pretty unique. It really came around same time like DRT was coming around and getting popular, and they kind of wanted to do something not similar, but have like their own bait that has multiple uses or purposes really. And one thing they did get was like a good design award, which are kind of really hard to get in Japan. Not even DRT got a good design award and still hasn't. I don't even know how that's possible, but they haven't even got that. So this small company, it's a very small company actually, what got that, and the other thing that they have that I'll show you even got it. So it's pretty impressive that they got that on its own. And they have some pretty sick colors. It's like a lipless bait mixed with a swim bait sort of. And this color here is considered a saltwater color, so it comes with these more beefy style hooks. So they're not really small hooks, but they're definitely good hooks. They're very sharp. I like that Zowire style hook. I'm trying to hope that this damn thing focuses. Come on. It was focusing on everything else. Come on. Let me see if any holding. Here we go. And of course. Alright, so there you go. And so, like I said, this color here is a saltwater color. It's got this white belly with like gold flake in it. And then the sides are like a rose gold copper color with a red head on it. And then the back has like reddish copper with a goldish flake on the top. And like I said, these hooks, they're beefy, so I really won't have to replace those. They're not bending out. And so you have these two different line ties on it, the front nose and then the top nose. The top line tie, it's going to give you more of a lipless kind of like swim to it, where it's just has this kind of back and forth swim to it. It's not really like a real dramatic swim to it, and that's also allows it to dive a little bit. The front nose tie kind of keeps it up a little bit. So this this top one here is meant to be used with this tail specifically, and then the front nose one is supposed to be used with the extra attachment tail that I'll be showing in a second, which is right here, and it's called like the bumble tail, a rumble tail. And this here you're supposed to attach on, and then this tail allows the bait to give it a sort of like a sort of glide, but it's more like a dead walk sort of glide. It's not really like it's doing a crazy wide glide. Yeah, TK, I have a couple of the bandits. Actually, might be one over there somewhere. I know I have a couple somewhere, but I really don't use them. That's good to hear, Tom. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. What's it called, Tim? They might be that because the let me see. I know the toxic baits uses them, which are these. Let me see. Nah, they're not identical. They're very close. I think this one might be the Hayabusa version versus the owner. But like I was saying, this here, this is with that tail on it, and it increases the size a pretty good amount as well. But it pretty much allows that bait to get like this pretty much wide sort of like swim. It's hard to like honestly show. It'll go like this. And has that sort of like that sort of swim. And since that join, the way it's angled, it allows it to have like this, like I said, sort of like roll at the same time. And let me see if honestly I can probably show it to you guys real quick. Elements. There we go. Alright, so this guy here is the tail. It's going to show the difference. You see, it says to start in 2016. There's prototyping for that. So same around time the DRT stuff came out. So it's like a real natural swim. It's not like super dramatic, but then you get that dead wall sort of twitch or glide to it. And it stays pretty shallow for the most part with that. Like I said, rumble tail, because you're using that front line tie. The whole thing behind their brand is pretty cool, and they actually have a pretty good connection, like with some big people. And that's like with the normal tail. When they're going with the eyelet, front eyelet, it makes like a roll action to it. See, that's the front line tie with the regular tail. It's also good like rip bait. Like you can kind of like rip it or sweep it, and then that's the top line tie right there. Kind of like a lipless, see? Just with like that joint in the back. That's pretty much just like their pro stab talking about it. Trying to get any of the video off of it. But it's pretty decent bait. So alright, so let's make sure nobody else commented. So yeah, that's gonna be a pretty fun bait to try out. And I got also just 2 different color tails. I just got one in the red, which they call pink, which I don't know how that's pink, but, and then the that color, which is orange. So, but that tail is pretty nice, and it's so thin that really, like, look how thin that is. Once it, like, literally, look at that, it collapses like nothing. So it's really not going to be any issue for that, you know, hook or whatever. Once they grab it, they're going to get that back hook. So any way that the bait is positioned, really, it kind of causes the fish kind of to want to, like, come from underneath. So, but it's a pretty cool color. I like it. It's like a golden shiner, you know. What's that fish called from Cali? Calico fish type color. So that should be cool. And then the last bait that I will be showing, which is that bait that everybody has a little bit of controversy going on. And I'll just show you the differences in the 2 baits. Alright, so this is the last bait right here, and this is the Growdesign's new bait that came out actually recently. This is not the old one that they have. This is the new one. This is the G flag, which is the gill flag, and this is the 150. And it offers a little bit differences than the regular flag too, which is kind of cool. And it also has some parts too that's on the flag, the normal one. And also the packaging itself is actually a case, so whenever you're done not using it, you just put it back in here and you keep it packaged like that. And this bait here, when I was kind of like looking at it first, I had took it out. The plastic itself, I'm not sure if it's the paint or whatever it is. It feels like I've never felt this type like sort of plastic. It's very odd, and it's very nice. Not big at all. Pretty small bait. Compact. It's got like a gill or a shad sort of profile. The fins from underneath. These 2 little like holes here, they, even though it looks like just like a paint or like an anal fin or whatever, and but these are little spots for like weights. There's one here that's meant for like a ball, tungsten ball, and then this one has a little cavity for a nail weight. But I was asking them, what tungsten ball weight do you use? And they didn't even know what that I was trying to like ask that. And I was like, because I've never heard of a tungsten ball weight that goes in baits. So I was like, is there a certain brand that makes that or whatever? And they were like, we're not sure. And so, or I don't think he even understood. So I think what they're going to do is probably make their own, or probably produce them so that they can include it. Because he was saying that they'll try to explain or produce something that helps, you know, allow you to be able to use that. Because I was confused on that. And so, like I said, you know, this guy right here is pretty nice. It has a little, also the hook cavity here. There's one for the bottom, and that's for when you want it to have a slow float. You can have it in a slow float. That's what those nail weight sort of like sections are. So you can have like a slow sink or slow float. And then also the top portion on the head here also allows for hook rigging. That's why it has that sort of like top eyelet here. The hook can be laid on top as well as this, pretty much same way you have down here. There's a cavity up here that allows you to put the hook in there. So you can have a hook rig, the top hook rig option. So if you want to use it as a, like I said, slow sink, you can get it on bottom and it'll actually be able to fish it down instead of just having it float up every time. And then also you there's, I really wish I would have got the other part that I could I have it coming, but I just, this didn't came in the mail yet. But there's a lip that you buy, that you get and you can buy, that attaches to the front here, and it's like a little tiny plastic lip. The Flag 170 and this bait here specifically uses them, and you can attach the lip on here and then it becomes like a crank down. And you also have to use these here, these little part, it's like a little part that you buy, but it's the bumpers and or dampers, and it's a pretty smart kind of like simple design on it. It really doesn't take much. Like I was really wondering like how the hell they made it, but at the same time like saying like, damn, that's simple. And really it's just like two coffee straws that has like a rubber band that goes through them. And like I said, it's you kind of have like this little two coffee straws that has like a band attached to it, and then you take the this like little band and you put it the tail through, and then you just roll that up, and then you got the bumper there, and the bumper kind of helps keep that joint a little bit dampened, so when you put the lip on, it has a more better stable action to it. So that's also pretty cool and a little bit different, but like I said, simple and allows the bait to have a different action. And then also with the lip that you get, that you know purchase separately, the one of the lips that you get in the packaging is different. It's a moldable plastic, so you can take the plastic and bend it, and you can bend the lip. And Brendan was kind of like talking about that with me a while ago, actually, before I even saw them bring that up. And so he kind of has his, you know, designs or thoughts on that, pretty kind of cool, and are good. And so, like I said, and it's a pretty much bendable plastic that you can bend up or down, and any angle really you want, to allow you to pretty much get that bait to go down deeper or shallower or any way you want, really. And I think that's kind of cool. And it kind of reminded me of like this bait that was designed back in the day that had a plastic, it was the plastic that it was made out of had like scent infused into the bait, and then as it went into the water, like reacted with the water, which is like I haven't seen anybody try doing that ever again. But I don't think it's really, I think it's like a gimmick, but at the same time it just kind of like reminds me of that. But yeah, like I was saying, that so this is just their newer product. It comes with also these two little eyes, the two sets of eyes just in case they fall out, and then also these little kind of like a jig uh, keeper type, like forget the goddamn name, whiskers or whatever the hell they're called. And I don't know why I'm forgetting the name, the strands, whatever. And that's actually meant to hold like the hook in if you have any issues with the hook keeper slot, if it starts getting messed up. So that's kind of cool that they thought about that too. And so, like I said, that's like the newer model that came out within the past like year or so, or a couple months. And then the original Flag is the one that the Berkley had copied. And I'll show you like the differences between those baits, the swim wise and stuff like that. And then I'll give like why I think it's pretty much a waste of money. Alright.
So let's see the straight retrieve.
I got some extreme heartburn right now.
Hold on, let me get that out there a little bit.
Alright.
Good wiggle.
Use their own evidence against them.
Oh yeah, really good. I hope you guys can see
Alright.
that. It's a tight.
So
it's got
this
good
is the bait
motion.
here.
I shouldn't say gliding. It's got good walking motion. It's just really.
And if you can tell, it doesn't really do good at low speeds. It's just more meant for like twitching, as you see right there.
More aggressive twitches, and it's really just walking the dog right on the surface.
And pretty much that S waiver could do the same thing. It'll last you the same amount of time, last you way longer.
So let's see the straight.
And also this bait does not have a mesh in it, so it's gonna have the same issues the flag had when it first came out, which is why a lot of people weren't buying them.
Oh, really good. I hope you guys can see that.
And then now he's gonna try and straight retrieve it. And it just has like this sort of like two-piece action. So it's not really, doesn't have like a tail kick. It's just kind of like sort of like a two-piece glide, like an S waiver, sort of like if you're kind of like retrieving an S waiver in a way. So that's enough of that one, and then I'll show like the Growdesign one. Could do swim bait reviews. I guess that'd be good. And then that's the Growdesign. But this is the 255, but same damn thing. It's just a larger version. Let me put it down for you, because it's not loading. There you go. So as you can see, that tail is actually soft plastic as well. It doesn't have any bristle tail. The tail is very soft. Now you see that? That's on a straight retrieve. It has way more complete fluid action to it, where it's not as stiff or like robotic in a way. And then see how when you kill it, it glides out, stays straight, doesn't roll. Look at that. Burning it. See how it has that tight kick to the back? It's just sort of like the back tail section is kicking. It's not where like the whole bait is kind of jointing together. Like I said, it's sort of like robotic. And then that's just trying to like glide it out. It doesn't really necessarily need to have to chop it or go very quickly with it to make it actually glide. And actually this bait technically likes to not really glide like super fast. It's more like a slow sort of glide. Or you just end up burning it with like a straight retrieve, and it'll kind of have like a tail kick to it. And like he's saying here is that it's not very consistent when you're trying to like glide it. It's more like it just wants to let go kind of wherever, but it will kind of make that gliding sort of action. But I think that actually looks better in my opinion, because it's more erratic versus looking mechanical and choppy. I don't know. So yeah, that's, like I said, the difference in the swim pretty much you're getting in the bait. And then this is just the people that make it themselves kind of showing. They'll probably make it look even better, but kind of just the same thing. Like I said, more nice, like controlled action to it, more keeled. It's not rolling to one side or looking weird. It's very stable. And you would think with the gliding fins that they put on the Nessie that it would be more stable, but it's not, which is weird to me. So, but yeah, and then the G flag that I have, they really don't have videos for that one yet, I don't think. Growdesign G flag. Yeah, no, they don't have the G flag for some reason. But oh, I know what they do have. The lip. So here is that lip that I was kind of talking about that you can buy. It comes with the two lips. This darker plastic one, or like a bone maybe as plastic, is the bendable one. And so you'll get the bait here, and see how you'll have that lip on the end, so it kind of turns it into like a crank down pretty much. And then he's going to show the bendable lip. What the hell just happened? What the hell just happened? So yeah, right here, he's going to show the bendable lip. Hold on. Here we go. Jesus, I knew I messed up. So see how he's bending it, and it'll bend to whatever pretty much like shape or angle you want to be in. So see how it's like curved versus the other one where it's kind of like straight. And so that's kind of what you're going to get with that little 2-pack of lips that you buy separately. Alright, Tyler, I'm pretty much going to be done anyway in like a second. I'll see you there. So yeah, so that's kind of like what you're getting with the difference of that Nessie and the other one. You're not really getting that much versatility. You can't buy that lip. You can't really get much out of it besides maybe twitching it or chopping it. And in my opinion, why do that when you can get an S-wader for the same price and make it last 10 times longer and get the same amount of action or the same glide that you would get? It's not really offering that, you know, a different swim or a more natural swim. So that's the only, like, you know, thing I'm not understanding about that. It's pretty much like buying a cheaper glide or a cheaper plastic glide that falls apart after 2 or 3 fish. Like, that's literally the one reason why I did not buy these baits for years, was because that their plastic was very soft, it wasn't as durable, and they didn't have a mesh in between the joint. Now they have a mesh between the joint. Their plastic is a lot durable, and they last a lot longer. And then, you know, overall, the action is a lot more refined, in my opinion, and worth the extra 2 Nessies you're going to pay to get the bait. Because it's like paying for 3 Nessies, really. You're getting 3 for 1. But you only get 2 or 3 fish per Nessie, or, you know, maybe 1, who knows. Because I've seen the flags rip after 1 fish, the old ones. So, I don't know. So I think, in my opinion, you're just better off getting the Nest waiver, have it last. Don't waste the money on that when it really is not offering anything different, in my opinion. And you know, probably the call shad is better, honestly. You'd be better off getting that if you want to get something like a soft bait. So, no, not like bitten off, Brendan. I mean like ripped. Like, sometimes the guys will set the hook a little bit too early and it just rips the tail off. But like I said, that's not everyone, you know. Just because 1 or 2 guys have an issue with the bait doesn't mean the whole thing is trash. Sort of like, you know, Mike Gilbert having his baits, where some of them kind of had issues, and guys were like, oh my God, the working class zero baits are trash. And I'm like, no, dude, it just means that maybe you just had an issue, or you got the shitty end of the stick. It just happens. Can't blame every single one, the whole brand, for 1 bait that you got messed up. You know, so that's just like my opinion on that. And that, honestly, I hope that you know, they do have that little podcast. You know, what's his name? You know, I'm trying to get his name. Casting Crank. I know the podcast, but I forget his name. But I really hope that Casting Crank does that podcast with Ben and Mike Gilbert, because that would be pretty damn good. That would definitely break, like, especially if they do it live. I can see that getting crazy, especially with Mike. Like, I know Mike definitely would keep it pretty realistic and be like, dude, you know, if it quacks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it's probably a damn duck. That's probably what he'll say. He just doesn't, like. So that's why I really hope they do that. But I doubt Mike's going to do it. Because I just know both the people like Casting Crank and all those guys, they do not like that shit. So, man, like I said, back in the day, I remember there was a time where, like, if you were using like a knockoff bait, or it was like a goofy bait or something, you would get literally made fun of. Or people would literally make fun of the lure and just not buy it. Or they would just completely like disrespect that company, or just be like, that, yeah, they're a piece of trash, I'm not buying them. Now it's just like, oh yeah, whatever. So it's weird. Like back in, and like I said, I think honestly, the 2003, 2002, 2004 Ike would probably be like, what the hell am I doing? Like, if he saw what the hell he's doing now, like, he'd probably, if it was right now, you'd probably be making fun of the shit he was doing. Like, it just makes no sense. Because I remember back in the day, he would do shit like that. So I just don't get that. And then that whole podcast or live stream he did with that guy that supposedly designed the bait and all this, it was very odd. and they really didn't give no recognition to the company that really they got the design from. And then the fact that they showed it on like his story, but then didn't show it on the podcast. And be like, that literally makes no sense. It's like you're hiding it intentionally, which shows you just have bad faith and bad, you know, intentions, really. And as someone as like Ike and all the whole BTC and all of them always crying about people copying stuff or copying the other things that, you know, from videos or designs or whatever, they're, you know, copying and taking other people's shit and then saying, oh, it's okay because everyone else does it. So if someone else jumps off a bridge, that means it's okay. The hell? Like, just call it for how it is, dude. You don't have to like sugarcoat it. I honestly would rather respect you just saying straight up, oh yeah, I took the design or whatever and really didn't do much with it. At least you're honest about it. So, yeah. Reverse engineered, really. Which I think that's what Berkeley does mainly. That's the science. It's reverse engineering. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. You guys can pretty much go to Tyler's. I'll probably be there as well. But I really don't really have anything else. Oh, and then the Matt Steffen thing, that made no damn sense to me. Literally, Matt Steffen crying that somebody knocked off his damn jig when literally it's a knockoff of a knockoff that he took from a damn Japanese company. Gamakatsu has a hook. Verivas has a hook. A couple other ones. And then he complains that Spro did the exact same thing he did, which is just literally branching out that product to more and more people. So why are you mad if that's technically what you said? That's the reason why you brought it over here, was to just branch out and bring it to more people. Why are you mad then? You know, it just shows you that that's not really their intent. It's just to make money off of it. They really don't care. It's just marketing and money. Because he has literally no right to be angry or mad for Spro copying anything. That's literally like I said on a video, it's like a thief, TK's video. That's like a thief complaining somebody stole from him. Yeah, it's just, and Berkeley, they could make, they're literally a $50 million plus company yearly. What the hell are you copying a brand that is not even a quarter of that? Not even, they don't even make probably $1 million. That's literally makes no sense. That's literally like a big company knocking off TK or any small company garage built bait. It just makes no sense. Why not just collab? It's the same thing with Bait Sanity. Bait Sanity could have collabed with Fish Everything. It makes no sense. And that's what I literally not argue, but I just had a talk with the Xander guy from Tackletor. I literally mentioned, I said, you know, why couldn't Bait Sanity work with Fish Everything? Even I don't even like Fish Everything like that. I still would rather them see them do that. But literally, I just said, why didn't they work with Fish Everything? He came up with this huge thing about, oh, it had to be plastic and it couldn't be resin. And I was like, what did that have to do with anything? But he ended up following me. But like I said, I ended up saying that I understand that they wanted to build it out of ABS and it can't be in resin. It's sort of the same thing how KGB worked with Spro. They can build that at ABS. They literally did that. They built a paperweight ABS glide. So why couldn't they work with the original company, Fish Everything, to design the bait that he literally designed? That makes no sense. Literally. And they probably would have saved money on doing that. Not spending more money by working with another company. So I don't even understand that. And literally, I'm sure it probably would have sold even more, just like the KGB baits are selling like hotcakes, due to the fact it's a collab bait with a small brand maker, just like the BBZ baits, just like I said, the Spro and every other Butch Brown, all these damn things, they sell just as much as any other bait, probably more, because of those reasons. So doing that really makes zero sense, and they just didn't think of it. Like, oh yeah, let's copy a bait, but then have no actual thing to, like, honor the person that actually gave them that idea. Even if they probably would have maybe hit them up to name the damn thing, that would have been something. Like, it just makes zero sense on that. And literally, the Xander guy, he literally just didn't respond after I said that. I was like, yeah, like I said, I understand that they have to make the bait out of ABS because it's mass produced. But why couldn't they just work with the actual guy that made it? Why work with some other company that has nothing to do with the damn swim bait? Yeah. Yeah, they can. It sucks. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for sticking by, and like I said, you can go head over to Tyler. I'll probably be seeing you guys there, and take it easy. And like I said, thanks for stopping by, and if you can hit a like and leave a comment on any of the baits you liked or whatever, I'd appreciate it. Thanks, guys, and have a good rest of your night. Take care, guys.